Are you ready to sit in a seat of luxury? Let's get the show started. Hello and welcome to another Tuesday evening, another amazing episode of The Lipstick Effect. I am Jamila Bannister, your host of The Lipstick Effect, and I'm really excited about this week's episode. You know what? I'm excited about every week's episode because every episode is really good, and I spend a lot of time preparing this for you. All right. So, in this week's episode, we are going to be talking branding as usual, but we're going to be talking branding from the perspective of luxury branding and how that actually plays out in the Trinidad and Tobago and, of course, by extension, the Caribbean context. So, if you're one of my friends watching me from the US, the UK, Canada, welcome and good evening. We're going to talk about how we do luxury right here in the Caribbean for this episode. Of course, the special guest tonight, Miss Kathryn, nurse, founder, and CEO of Immortelle Beauty, is backstage having some champagne, eating some caviar and just relaxing until it's her time to come on stage. So, of course, before we get started, I just want to say hello and welcome. Of course, if you are here, leave some love in the comments. Let us know that you are here alive. If you are watching this on the replay, please leave replay, drop some lipstick emojis because after all, this is the lipstick effect. All right, so let's dive right in and let's start with some news from around the world. All right, in this week's episode of News from Around the World, recently, of course, one of the ways that brands differentiate themselves is being cruelty free. So recently, in January, three states actually in the United States, Virginia, Maryland, and Hawaii, followed four states, California, Nevada, Illinois, and Maine, in becoming cruelty free. As a matter of fact, they have made it against the law to test your beauty products on animals, and New Jersey and New York will be following suit in the coming months. So if you are a brand that differentiates yourself based on being cruelty free or not testing on animals, soon enough that's going to be something that's outlawed across the land because once things start to gain traction and one state does it, a couple of the states do it, and then soon enough, the Caribbean will adopt the same thing as well in terms of testing on animals. So, of course, that is an area you are going to have to think about. How do I continue to differentiate myself? Because if everyone has to follow the same law, your positioning is no longer special. So, keep that in mind with your beauty brand. Animal testing is quickly becoming something that doesn't just isn't just frowned upon, but it's going to become illegal in the coming months and years. I can really see that already, based on the fact that some places in the United States have already um, um, banned it all together. All right. Next, in premium beauty news, right? So, according to premiumbeautynews.com, shopping and social networks are expected to account for $1.2 trillion in sales by the year 2025. Now, I was reading a Euromonitor report this week as well that said by the year 2025, 80% of cosmetic sales and beauty sales will be influenced by digital engagement online, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So people will be checking these channels to see what others are saying, what the reviews are, what the quality is like, what the experience is like even before they go into a physical store to shop. So they might shop online, but they will check the reviews and they will check the engagement and they will check the quality of the brand online before they go into store. And if you think about your own behavior, before you make a purchase on Amazon, you go and you click and you check the reviews. So you are definitely going to see more of that in the coming years. And the people who are leading the pack are the millennials, who are projected to spend 401 billion US dollars, and the Gen Zers, who are expected to spend a projected $359 billion, right? So, if you have not started really taking your digital strategy seriously, your content marketing seriously, marketing and putting your brand out there and positioning your brand in a way that really engages your niche audience, you're going to need to start taking that seriously because it is going to be driving a whole lot of sales, right? Now, while they said that fashion will be the leading industry to adopt or to be driven by this type of selling, beauty is fast on its heels in terms of catching up with that. So beauty would be one of the fastest growing areas to benefit from digital engagement. So let me know in the comments, how are you doing with your digital engagement, your digital ecosystem, your website, your emails, your showing up live on social media, your Instagram, your TikTok? What are you doing to engage your community and build with them? So keep that in mind. And you know what? I want to have a bit of local news as well. So locally, nail techs have been pivoting smartly in this pandemic time to moving from doing nails that are very close up and doing pre-designed, pre-packaged press-on nails. So they have been selling nails in packages and sending them out to their clients so that they can still enjoy a little bit of beauty and a little bit of luxury with their nails without necessarily having to be close up. So some of the nail techs have obviously gone back to doing their face-to-face appointments. Of course, all COVID protocols observed, but many persons are still using the prepackaged press-on version of nails, which people really appreciate because the designs are unique and different, and they really are able to represent the person who is buying or using them. So this is the news from around the world this week, and so if you're a nail tech, hats off to you for pivoting and being so smart about your brand. And if you are looking to launch a beauty brand or have been ignoring your digital presence online, now is the time to start because the global beauty industry really is growing. And of course, if you are a brand that hinges its position on cruelty free, you're going to want to think of something that could really keep your position distinct because everybody soon enough will be marketing themselves as a cruelty free brand. And when everybody does something, it is no longer unique and special. All right. So that's what we want to start off with this week. So let's jump to our next segment, which we will bring our guest in. So let me preface this discussion a little bit. So many of us love to shop local. I love to shop local as well, but shopping local also means that I hold my local people to a high standard because I think we all deserve to have the best. Now, our guest this week, um, who I'm excited to bring out. She has certainly raised the bar when it comes to local, when it comes to luxury, and when it comes to beauty with her brand, Immortelle Beauty. So I'm going to invite her out now. I'm sure she's closing up her caviar and covering her champagne bottle and sipping her last sips on her glass. So welcome, 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 Miss Kathryn is CEO and founder of Immortelle Beauty. Hi, Kathryn. Welcome to the Lipstick Effect. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Glad you're gonna glad you are here this evening, and I think it's going to be great. I see we have 5 people on watching right now, and I'm sure the comments will start coming in pretty soon. All right,
Lovely.
so I see you have a little bit of a Caribbean motif behind you, which
Hmm.
is really lovely. So let's get started one time. So for the people who may not know you, for my friends in the United States who may be watching us on LinkedIn, um, Kathryn, just give us a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself, tell us about you and about the company that you run.
So, my name is Kathryn. As we said, I run a business called Immortelle Beauty, which is going into its 11th year now. Our tagline is Little Local Luxuries because we wanted to make high end, high quality, affordable products for Caribbean people in the Caribbean. And
Mhm.
It's been an exciting journey so far. I myself personally have been obsessed with cosmetics for many, many years. The pandemic has slowed down my own purchasing, but I am very passionate about all things beauty and all things with the industry as well.
All right, awesome. Okay, so oh, we have our first comment. It's Gabe. Gabe, who is hi, Gabe. Nice to have you here. Thank you for coming on and giving us some love. Gabe is like a master of master of shows and streaming. So thanks for your support, Gabe. All right. Okay, Kathryn. So I heard you say your shopping has slowed down. I guess some of mine too, and I think everybody's shopping has slowed down. So I definitely want to talk about what you have been doing and if it has slowed down for Immortelle. But before we get there, I was when I was preparing for this evening, I was looking through some of the information that you sent me,
Mhm,
and I saw that this was not the path that you originally were on.
mhm.
You were on a path to becoming a doctor and then detour into cosmetics. So tell us a little bit about how you made that detour, and I suppose how your family even respond to the fact that you went to do medicine and then you're into beauty, kind of disparate feels.
So, first of all, the career of cosmetic chemist wasn't remotely as well known back when I was in university. Um, I mean, this was before the boom of social media. So I don't think most people had a real concept of how their products came to market, that they were actual humans in the lab mixing the ingredients together to bring these products to market. And once I realized that, and I was studying to become a doctor because I was always good at science. But for me, that just wasn't like hitting. Like that wasn't, just because I'm good at science, that didn't seem like the career for me. So when I discovered that a cosmetic chemist existed, basically doing magazine research. I was just reading magazines and they were talking about Estee Lauder and developing her own cosmetics. And I was like, oh my God, that's something I would really like to do because I'm good at science and I'm really, really into beauty products. So I then decided to change my track at that point in time. Oh, Jamila, what happened? Oh, I'm alone now. See if Jamila is going to come back in. Hmm, so strange. Oh, well, I'll answer the question. So Maxine has asked me what my parents' reaction was initially. So my mom passed away when I was, yeah, I realize. Yes. Okay. All right. We can definitely consider continue the conversation. That's fine. Oh, there she is. She's back. Hello.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys.
Hello.
The
I
internet
was just
will not
about to
let me
continue the
live
conversation
tonight.
without you. I was getting questions to be answered.
Oh, yes.
So I was just going to answer Maxine's question, which is what was your parents' reaction initially?
Oh, yes, definitely. I would love to know that because
So,
no,
um,
yes. Mhm.
so for me, my mother passed away when I was very young, when I was 14. She's the one who
Right.
introduced me to cosmetics and the love of beauty products. And my dad has been always been a super supportive person, like extremely supportive. He would never try to impose a career choice on me. So both me and my brother have pretty characteristic careers. So my brother studied art. He went to art school for university, and he's now an I say an animator because it's easier to describe. But he's like, that is not my role. I'm a compositor, or whatever that means. But he works on huge like
Yes.
Hollywood films. Like he just finished working on the Spider-Man movie that just came out. So I say all that
Oh
to say
wow.
I have extremely supportive parents. So when I said that this is what I was interested in doing, as long as I had a plan to show him how I was going to be able to support myself with this career, he was 100% behind it. And now that I
Yeah.
started my own business, he is my business partner. So just today, he was on QuickBooks updating my accounts. So he's literally the most supportive person on the planet.
Oh, that is so fantastic. That is so fantastic. I know some people, some parents are they're very, very traditional. So, you tell them you want to study medicine, you want to study makeup, what? It can be
Yes.
kind of like, but I am that's really, really good. Right. So Gabe has a question here, but I think we will take this question a little bit later on.
Okay. I'll let my wheels start tuning from now. Oh, I have good answers to this. Did we lose Jamila again?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, we're
Flow,
back.
flow. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
Okay,
have
so
flu.
Gabe has a question here, but I think we will definitely address this a little bit later on. He says, so what are
I
your
have good
opinions on
answers.
the evolution of the beauty and makeup industry? So Gabe, we will definitely answer this one because I have something that's closely related to this one, the line of questions. I will definitely come back to this one. So let me put a star on this one so I remember to come back to it, right? All right, Miss Kathryn. All right, so you know what? There's a Japanese philosophy that talks about um that talks about it's called ikigai, right? And it talks about four essential things meeting in order for you to really live a long, prosperous, and happy life. It talks about your passion, your mission, your profession, and your vocation intersecting to really bring you um that type of happiness. And it's not often that people have the opportunity for their passion and their profession and their vocation to be the same thing, right? And so, with that being said, what is the so now I kind of wonder what is your mission and what is the mission of Immortelle Beauty and what are you hoping the impact of the brand will be, not just for you but like for the industry at large, locally and internationally.
So when we started, it was a bit narrow. I wanted to make cosmetics for Caribbean people within this niche of affordable luxury. I wanted people I just wanted my customers to feel like they deserved nice things and we were going to make nice things for them. And what I started to
Yeah.
observe when I started the business is that the effort and attention we placed on packaging and branding was a rarity at that time. And so
Hmm.
what I started to notice is that people didn't think at first glance that the products were local or were from Trinidad. And I
Yeah.
started to pick that up as our mission and vision that we wanted through our products, through our business, to change people's minds, change the customer's mindset about what a local product can look like, what a local product should look like, what we should demand from our local products. And
Hmm.
now, once the consumer demand is created, that people want things that are nicer, they want things that are more elegant, that are more high end, that the other local brands will then respond to meet those needs. So
Yeah.
that is where we are right now, 10 years, 11 years into our journey, hoping
Hmm.
to, be inspiration to other brands, and also to change the mind of customers.
Yeah, because I was just about to ask you. That's one of the questions I have here about whether or not people would question whether it's local. But sometimes I get that. It's almost as though they really, really can't reconcile in their mind that something could be luxurious as well as local. But do you find that to be a little intimidating though to keep the standard of luxury? Because to put yourself in that category is a big declaration, right? And there are so many things that you have to control in order for people to have that experience. Do you feel intimidated at all by the idea that you are a luxury brand?
So that's where the little comes in our tagline, little local luxury. So for me, it's like a little luxury, a little sprinkling of luxury, because luxury really is a subjective thing. Depending on what you have, taking the time to put on a lotion can be a luxury in your life. But when I consider on the scale of luxury brands, um, I don't consider it, you know, anywhere near any of those the huge international luxury brands that I look to as benchmarks. We have a long way to go, and a lot of that has to do with it's a very small business, and we are limited in our resources. Um, One of the main reasons that high-end brands can look so unique and exceptional is because they have wide reach so that they can get custom packaging and custom branding. And because I'm so small and my reach is so small, I don't get a lot of custom. I don't I'm not able to do a lot of custom work. So we have to take the packaging that we can access and try to figure out how to make it to put the maximum amount of elegance into it. So I see from my perspective, there's a long way to still we could still go.
Right. Okay. So clearly I'm breaking up, like, and I didn't catch
A
many
little
of much
delay,
of that.
actually. I think you have a little delay from me. I'm not sure if everybody else is seeing that or if it's just me.
No. I'm seeing it too, but we had to roll with the punches because they can't keep
It's
it down.
true.
So Gabe is saying here, I find this interesting as my wife has a huge selection of cosmetics and follows a lot of beauty influencers on YouTube and Facebook. Love this conversation. Thanks, Gabe. Really appreciate that. You should tell your wife to take a look and see what she might be able to add some of Immortelle's products to her collection because you know what? Immortelle ships to the United States. So you can definitely get that. And Celise is saying, exactly, we limit ourselves and our countrymen. We do.
I
We
agree.
do.
I agree.
We
I
certainly
too
do.
many times I hear, Trinidadians don't need all that. All that is not necessary. And I'm like, well, one of the functions of luxury is that it's not necessary. It's just nice, and we just like it. It makes people
Yeah,
feel
inherently it is
good.
aspirational. Inherently
We
it's
do it
about
to feel
status. It's
good as
about feeling
well.
good. Yeah, for sure. All right. So, I'm gonna go back to Gabe's previous question. He said, what are your opinions on the evolution of beauty and the makeup industry? I don't know if you have any opinions on that at all. And I guess
Yes.
from your perspective, what you've seen. Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting because one of the main reasons that I came home to start my own brand, if I had started in the industry a little bit later, I may have never come to start my own brand. Because when I was leaving the
Mm-hmm.
United States, the beauty industry was still dominated by these huge players, the L'Oreals and the Estee Lauders. Um, and we hadn't seen this proliferation of these small, exciting brands yet that we all are so familiar with now because of social media, that are now so accessible because of social media. So you didn't need to read a magazine and see like an ad in a magazine because you could go on YouTube and find out from your favorite influencer that this brand that they just got in their mail has the best foundation ever. Um, and that's a company that has 12 employees. So if I had started out later, I probably would have been staying in the business up there trying to work with these really small, exciting brands. But because that hadn't started happening yet, I came home to start my own. So I find the industry much more exciting and dynamic than it was 10 years ago, personally. It's very exciting to me.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think the indie brand segment of the beauty industry, they're so agile. People are so agile coming up with these things.
Yep.
Information is so available now. People
And
are
all the
making their
back.
own formula at home. I don't know if you would recommend that or not, but people are doing that, and the cosmetic the cosmetic industry has become somewhat democratized, just like media. So
Yeah.
you no longer
Barriers to
need
entry have fallen
permission.
considerably.
Yeah,
Agreed.
yeah, it has. Yeah, and it's nice. It's nice that it's democratized, and we can access it if we want to, and you could quickly come up with a beauty brand in 6 months. In 3 months, you can launch a new brand if you want. You can't do that. That's the benefit of it. But of
You can
course,
speak directly
launching
to
the
your
product is
audience.
one. Yes, the direct to consumer market is huge. But, making the product is one thing, building the brand is a whole other story. So
Yes.
let's talk a little bit more about that, right? So, all right. So when it comes to luxury brands that are essential, right? So a few things like a distinct brand. So people, did you catch that? Or did you miss that?
Keep going. I'll pick it up.
Okay. So I said when it comes to luxury brands, there are a few things that are essential to the brand actually being categorized as luxury. So from distinct branding to superior products, scarcity or exclusivity, you know what I mean? And an amazing in-store experience. So I want to talk about two of those things in particular. I want to talk about the scarcity and the exclusivity, right? And kind of ask you, how do you reconcile the fact that we are already in such a small market? How do you still ensure that there is that bit of scarcity or that bit of exclusivity with your brand? Um, and we already have such a small number of people, and you're already in such a niche. Or is it that you don't really focus on that as much as the other parts in terms of luxury?
So, um, that's a really good question. Um, so I have a luxury brand management degree, and we talked about scarcity a lot when I was in school. It's not something I actively try
Mhm.
to cultivate. It's a small market already, so to try
Okay.
to cultivate scarcity in a small market, especially when you're trying to build up your kind of like your minimum demand, is a little bit limiting, I would say. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially because for manufacturing, you need certain minimums to meet certain minimums to get
Yeah.
like economies of scale. So, most of our products are body products, so we still have a consumer brand. So we still have to get to a certain volume. But the business is small, and we cannot cannibalize our own selves by having it in every single place in Trinidad. So we
Yeah.
do limit our locations, and we try to keep it very tight. And even if there are multiple locations in a small area that have the line, they won't all have the same products. And at the end of the day, there's still certain things you have to come to a flagship store in order to get, because the retailers, the wholesalers will not have those things. So
Right.
that's the other thing we try to do. We segment our lines. So I have one line that I believe is more um, mass distribution, for
Mm-hmm.
a better word. So
Mm-hmm.
that one can go all over the country. But if you want to buy our candles, you can only buy them in certain locations or directly from us.
Yeah.
So we segment things. I think that's probably the best way to respond to that in order to maintain the exclusivity.
Yeah. So it's not really that you hold back, but you kind of put certain things in certain locations.
Exactly.
Okay, that's really smart, very clever. I like that a lot. All right. I just want to say hello and um, hi to Vali. She was just talking about the career path earlier.
Hey,
I don't know what happened.
Valine.
Yes, Vali, and thanks for being on. And for everybody else who's on the stream, I know tonight is this stream is misbehaving, but we will press through.
It's better now.
All
It's a lot
right.
better now.
Yes, thank God.
Nice.
All right, so let's talk about the in-store experience because when people go to I mean, does your store have the I shall return and you must come back? I mean, does it have
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Because tell us a little bit about that experience, that in-store experience. Because I went to the store before you had the beauty bar, right? And there were a couple of things I noticed. I will tell you what I noticed, but you could tell me about the experience before.
So because we're still very small, we can't have new, I mean, I try to have something new as often as possible to keep people coming in,
Mhm.
but it's impossible to, you know, every week to be having a new launch, right? To be
Yes.
driving traffic into the shop. So the look and feel of the shop is a big factor in that. We try to create little moments, little corners. It's a very small space, but we still try to create little moments so people who come just to see it, just to be in the space, the ambience, try to take a picture against our backdrop or our little mirror, so that we really do put effort into that. So instead of
Mhm.
just trying to put it together myself, I actually hired a designer for both our shop designs, the original one in the Normandy and this one, to
Yeah.
make sure that at our varying different touch points, people can feel connected to the brand. They feel the brand expressed in this physical location.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really good. And I love the way that you really put emphasis into that. One of the principles that we talked about design wise a couple of weeks ago, and I recognize that these principles we apply to any form of design. It's not just photography, even though we were talking about it in that context. It's any type of design, from makeup to styling to in-store to merch, everything. And one of the things I really liked about the store when I came in was the fact that you had a lot of white space. So the way
Mhm.
you arrange the products on the shelf relaxed me. Sometimes you go to a store and they have so many products, you don't know where to look. You're like overwhelmed. It's like, oh, it's like, and I suppose they have to have a lot if they have a lot of cheap products, so they need to sell a lot. You know what I mean? But the fact that I could actually go and choose one single product, it had its own space, so to speak, if you know what I mean.
Mhm, yeah.
And um, there was a lot of white space that gave me. I didn't realize how much of a physical ease and a mental ease that gave
Breath
me, and I
of fresh
don't.
air. I
Yes,
remember when I was doing that first store, that first time, you know, my dad, this is not his area. Like he just turned 80, and he would never have thought, like, in the past 10 years of his life, that he would be learning all these new things. So when I'm
yes,
putting all these things, he's like, why you have so much space between the products? And I'm like, I'm
yeah,
trying to create negative space. I wanted to feel like, I was like, when you like, I used to say I wanted it to feel like a museum when you go and there's like different displays to draw
yeah,
your attention. And he was like, but you have all this shelf space, you make this whole big shelf, and you're only putting products here. And I'm like, yes,
yeah.
that's good. I like it.
Yeah, I don't think people realize the psychological impact of that, and how that contributes to you having just a great in-store experience. And I think these are the small things. So if you are looking on the stream and you're thinking about luxury, these are the small things that make a difference. Ease of navigation, not just an ease of navigation isn't just about the eyes on a screen or looking at an image. It's like physical navigation that people
Mhm.
should be able to easily kind of walk through and identify this body butter, or this body's oil, or this cream, or this candle, or whatever the case may be. And I could come back to the store again and go make a beeline for that straight same area
Yeah.
and know exactly where it was. That's the kind of impact that you want to make brand wise. So that was pretty cool, right? So okay, so in the face of no. So if you had to describe the Immortelle Beauty Bar experience and what makes it super special, what would you say?
I think, like, just like I said earlier, it's the physical manifestation of the brand. So, um, you know, we have the product in a variety of different locations
Mm-hmm.
now. And to understand the brand in one of those other locations, you have to physically try the product. To understand the brand in our store, you just have to walk in the door, right? You just feel the essence of a high-end Caribbean experience from the time you enter, and then that carries through into
Mm-hmm.
the the, the testing of the product, and then you're like, oh wow, this is really nice, and the whole experience. So that little local luxury, I think, is really well translated within the space.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So beginner luxury. So if you've never been to Sephora or you've never been to anywhere, this is the closest experience you will get. Visit the beauty bar, all right? This would be really cool. I mean, I know one other thing I want to ask too, like, we are notorious. in this country, and I don't know if this is a Caribbean thing, but we are notorious for poor customer service. So, how do you reconcile that culture with the brand that you would like to build that is supposed to be impeccable, luxurious, and amazing service? How do you reconcile this small, the smaller culture building inside of a larger one that really doesn't care much about that?
I mean, I have difficulties. I mean, even like best laid plans, because I think one thing that we don't talk about a lot is because the culture of bad customer service is so huge. We don't talk about
Mm-hmm.
um, enough, in my opinion, the
Mm-hmm.
behavior of our customers, which
Right.
sometimes can contribute. However,
Yes.
so and then also because I have to say it's something I struggle with personally because a lot of the time I am the one doing the customer service. So I am
Mm-hmm.
very good at trying to do the aftercare, the answering the messages, but sometimes I may have just, been up the entire night before making candles, and that in-store person-to-person experience, you're not going to get the the ideal that I want because
Yes.
I'm tired, I'm not my best, and I will be the first to admit it. Sometimes and then I sit down and I think about it over and over and over because as I'm the type of person, I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have been more welcoming to that person. I should have been um, more, you know, bubbly, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really try to pull out all these stops when it comes to the online orders, the online service, making things easy for customers. Um, trying to, if there's a return, if there's an exchange, trying to make that easy for customers as well, because those things matter too. So I try to make up for maybe not always being at 100% with
Yeah.
the ease that I will be flexible. However, I think sometimes with local brands, customers take for
Mhm.
granted the flexibility and they have really high expectations for your flexibility. So things that they get from Amazon is what they will be demanding of you. So they'll make an order at 9 a.m. in the morning and they'll want to pick it up at 11 at the shop. And I'm like, we have processing time. Please give day, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to realize that those are boundaries that are set in place for a reason, for me, for my
Yeah.
staff, for our mental health. Because sometimes I want to be like, okay, you want it now, I'll give it to you now. And realize that that's probably not the best thing for myself. The customer is pleased. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
balances, and particularly because now I am directly in the shop so many days a week, it's a challenge for me to grasp it because I never want us to be put in that bucket of, oh, all these local stores have terrible customer service.
Yeah. It's hard, and sometimes. So, like, I run a summit, an online summit, and sometimes people doubt whether or not I'm living here in Trinidad. And there was one time somebody sent us an email, and I found the email came across kind of harsh. I'm like, we worked so hard to put together this summit, and when I responded to the person, they said, "I was just asking a question," and then I just sit and ask myself, did she really mean that? Maybe I misinterpreted that question, but I think I was very tired. And I thought about it, thought about it, thought about it. And then I said, you know what? I can't be the one answering these emails. And I think sometimes we are too close to it. We need to remove ourselves
Exactly.
from it.
Exactly. I literally have having that conversation with myself for 2022. I need to hire somebody for a role. And I was like, I wonder how much customer service I can put into this role because I might be too close to it, or I might be too involved in, like, exactly as you said, like, um, I have literally been developing these formulas and developing these products for all this time. So when
Yeah.
somebody comes in and is like, man, like how this smelling, no? You,
Yeah, you're like, oh no, I need to go outside and
oh, maybe
go
I
outside
can
and do.
interest you in something else. That's hard. And so, yes,
Yeah.
putting somebody else in between you, who is so personal,
Yeah.
and the customer can really help.
No, I think that's like only after I got that email, like maybe I overdid it anyway I responded to her. You know? So yes. All right, okay, cool. So All right, so you know, I have to check my question log. All right, so I was looking through your Instagram and just to get a feel for the little local luxuries online. And I came across one post where you said that you resisted being the face of your brand for a long time because you
Mhm.
wanted it to stand on its own, right? Um, but now you are happily embracing being the face of Immortelle Beauty. So I want to I want to find out like what was it that made you finally say, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm okay with being the face. And what impact, if any, did you see it have on your business once you did that?
So at that time, I'll say that's like 5 years ago, right? So that's like 5 years into the journey.
Mhm.
At that point in time, I was teaching and I was talking to my students about social media and social media for businesses. And I was like, but I don't have Instagram yet for my business. And one of my students was just like, well, why? I was like, well, I really didn't want people to buy it just because I was the one who was promoting it. And because, oh, yes,
Right,
I know her from school or whatever. I wanted them to buy it because the product was good.
right,
Um, but every time we would post something with my face in it, we would get much more likes, much more engagement on that picture.
yeah,
And so once we started to use me as like the face of the brand, we really saw an uptick in the social media. But that was about 5 years ago. And now we're actually moving away from that, but we're still trying to keep the personal elements. So now we're trying to use more influencers. The reason being, I do think over the past couple of years, particularly the my face being out there associated with the brand started to affect me personally when it comes to like mental health and balance.
mhm.
I stopped feeling like a real person. Like, oh, I can't go out looking X way or Y way because people will be like, and that woman selling beauty products, like she's not even immortal girl.
Oh my
Um,
god. Yes, that's hard.
and it started to it's I'm already a perfectionist and it started to wear on me and add anxiety and add stress to me. So we've
Yeah,
actually taken it off my plate a little bit more. We'll put me in there every so often, but it's not no longer um, carried on my face on
yeah,
the social media profiles. We've
yeah,
also gotten so much more different types of content over that 5 year period that we can have a nice variety circulating on the pages as well. So that helps too.
yeah. I think you did your job. As in you help lay the foundation and now you can it's like grooming a child, right? So you groom the child and then they grow up and then you're like, okay, you no longer need me to be at every moment watching you, grooming, you have a certain measure of independence. You're still there, making sure that everything is okay, but you don't need to be there in the child's face all the time. And I
Exactly.
can understand the pressure. I was actually making the point to somebody recently that to show up on social media is harder for women, and I don't know that people recognize that it is, especially if you're in the beauty industry and you're expected to show up on every day. But every day you
Mhm.
can't be on. Some days you're off. Okay, some days the light is off. And some days the light is off.
You're off.
Just like flip the switch and then you just want to be, covered down, unconcerned. You don't want to
And
wear
then
makeup.
there was an authenticity factor for me too. Like,
Yeah,
so, you bring 5 outfits and you cycle through the outfits as if it's different days. And showing off the products and stuff. And I was just like, this doesn't feel authentic to me anymore. Like, it doesn't feel like a real thing. And when I wasn't connecting to the images as much myself anyway.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I
Connect
mean,
much more now to an image, like a candid of me taking handing a customer a bag in the shop than I
yeah,
do to like a stylized image.
yeah, and I think people tend to prefer the more organic images in any case. The highly stylized ones are nice, but we need a balance. Because I mean, as I said, you're not on every day. You sometimes you're just off. Your dimmer goes down. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But and I love the way that you have actually. So you know what? One of the things that I observed that you did is that you have leveraged. Okay, so when I asked you the question about maintaining exclusivity, one of the things I thought you would mention, or at least it stood out to me, was the fact that you have these immortal beauties. So as Immortelle Beauties, so you have kind of leveraged their communities to bring their people. So
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
you have a nice curated audience. So talk to us a little bit about how you did that and what was the idea behind the Immortelle Beauties.
So actually, that was a campaign that was pitched to me by an influencer marketing agency called 10 Caribbean. And I loved it the
Yeah.
first time I heard it. It was supposed to be in celebration of our 10th year in 2021, May 2021. So we were supposed to have one Immortelle Beauty for every month for the 10 months leading up to the 10th anniversary.
Wow.
COVID kind of waylaid things a little bit.
Yeah.
We were in lockdown for some of those last months, so we had to extend it. And, the 10 for 10 beauties, 10 months, 10 years kind of thing ended up getting stretched a bit. But we were so excited to work with new people, new faces in the brand, and meet their audiences and get to new people to engage with the brand in a new way. So it it was a really nice experience bringing other people into the brand and hearing it translated through their lenses.
Yeah. Yeah. I imagine so. And you have a nice diverse group of beauties as well. I saw
Yeah,
I
what a
saw them
lovely
on
group.
your Instagram profile.
And
All
so
right.
we're going to
Okay.
see some semblance of that moving forward with different beauties in the future as well.
Yeah, because I think it's something that's worth keeping. I think that's a community right there. Those are the people who are
Yes.
hardcore for Immortelle Beauty. So why not keep them? You know what I mean? Um. All right. So Catherine, let's take a break and play a little game. Are you
Sure.
game to play a game, Catherine?
Always. I love games. I'm very competitive.
All right. So this is a this is just a small game. So I know that you are versed in the world of luxury beauty. So what I've done is that I have found five brands, right? So I am going to tell you the tagline of these brands, and you could try to identify which brand I'm talking about,
Okay, I'm ready.
right? So these are luxury brands in the beauty industry, right? Just to make it a little bit easier. All right. So the first one we have up is oh, come on,
That's
quick,
hard.
come
Everything starts with
on. Everything starts with a Y. Ding, ding,
YSL.
ding, 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 ding. Is it?
YSL, Yves Saint Laurent. Everything starts with a Y.
Yes, ding, ding, ding. That's correct. It is Yves Saint Laurent YSL. Everything starts with Y.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I know that. Okay.
But you're on the pulse, you're on the pulse, you're on the button, the luxury world. All right. So the next one we have here is this one. Quality is remembered long after price is forgotten.
Chanel?
Oh, womp womp womp. No, this
No.
one is Gucci.
Oh,
Gucci.
I thought it
Gucci.
was
Yeah.
one of those quotes that is always attributed to Chanel. Okay, okay. All
This one is Gucci, right?
right. Okay.
All right, so let's go to the other one. To be
Oh,
replaceable, one must
that
be
one is
different.
Chanel. That's the Chanel there.
Oh yes, you're correct, correct. That one is in fact Chanel. All
Chanel.
right, this one. All right, so let's go to this one now. What is going on with this internet, and why wouldn't it let me be great? All right, okay, so here we are now. Sisterhood is global. Sisterhood is powerful. Sisterhood is forever.
Hmm. That one is tough.
Mm.
Sisterhood. What brand is based in sisterhood?
Now, this, to be very honest, this one is a more recent slogan or tagline that this brand has brought into effect.
Is it hair care? I'm like asking a question. Is it a hair care brand?
Is it? Oh my gosh! This could you say it again? If it's what?
Is it a hair care brand?
No, it's not a hair care brand. No,
Okay. All right. Okay. I give up. This one is tough. I give up. Which one is this one?
this one is Dior. This one is Dior.
Really? Dior? They're talking about sisterhood? Okay.
Yeah, Yeah, yeah. They recently changed. They had something about we should all be feminists or something like that, and
Hmm.
then they changed it to this one. All right, so let's go to the final one. The final one. Now, this one wasn't very obvious to me, but then
Mhm.
again, maybe obvious to you because this is your judge and this is definitely your field, right?
No, but
Surgically inspired,
surgically.
scientifically then.
Who? Hmm. Who is?
You want to ask for a clue? You want to phone a friend?
Give me a clue.
This is a
High-end
brand.
skincare, celebrity skincare. Say that again.
Yeah, yeah, it's skincare. It's skincare.
What about La Mer?
No, womp womp. This one is called now. I am not too savvy, so I don't know how they call it. It's called 111 skin or 111 skin.
Oh, is that Madonna's line? Which one is
Uh,
Madonna?
I have no idea. I went to the website and I saw an Asian girl on the front. I don't know. I don't know whose website.
Or one
It's
one
based in
one.
London. It's based in London. It's based in the UK, it seems.
Okay, I don't know the line, so that's probably why.
Ah, all right. Okay.
So I did very badly.
All right.
I
No, you got what you got? You got 2 out of 5. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
got two.
Just kidding. You got 2 out of 5. Chanel and
48%.
Immortelle. That's 40%. Right on the money. All right. Okay. So okay. So how did the pandemic affect? And you talked a little bit about the pandemic affecting your spending, but how did it affect your store? And or did you see a shift in shopping patterns? Did people shop online
Yeah,
more? What was the
much
impact?
more shopping online. Much more. Like our online store was just like a fancy website for to say you had one before the pandemic, and now people use it as an actual it's an actual factor in our business. I'll say that, but it wasn't before. Much more online shopping, and then um, well, for the first 2 years of the pandemic, I can't believe I'm saying that, but I was just very focused on pivoting and making sure I can still get the product in people's hands, and we ended up growing year on year. In 2020 we grew, and in 2021 we grew. So now this year it's actually, I feel like I'm finally starting to feel somebody burnout that other people felt from the start of the pandemic, because I'm like, oh my gosh, how long can I keep this going?
Mm,
Trying to push it through these very difficult
yeah,
times, lockdowns and this and that, and um,
yeah,
material prices going up and supply chain issues. And um, so this year I've actually given myself a break. I have one, like last year particularly, I had lots of goals. Move my shop. Then we also wanted to relaunch website, different things. And this year I just have one kind of major overarching goal, and everything I want to do basically just points to that. And it's really a sales and revenue goal. Um, and so I'm giving myself a little ease up when it comes to that,
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
it's
I can
2 years
understand.
going hard, hard.
Yeah, yeah. Just to keep just to survive. You kind of have to like push yourself so hard to really because I mean to open a shop while we're still in or to move or to open your own space while we're still in pandemic mode. I mean, it can be seen as a big risk, but of course, you would have your goals that you have to meet, etc., etc., etc. And I love we were talking offline, and when you said it's making the move turn out to be more productive for you, which is beneficial to
Yes,
your mental health in the long
yes.
run. You know, so and that was really good. So that was excellent. So what can we look forward to in 2022? Any secrets you want to drop? Anything you want to give us a hint on
A little
about
secret
immortal beauty?
is that we'll have a little bit more wider distribution coming February. I
Right.
was I'm a part of the Nudge program, which allows smaller local brands access to Massy and Massy stores. So we'll have some items in Massy permanently in 8 Masseys around the country um,
Wow.
from February, as well as I'm hoping to do some new product development later this year. And I have an exciting concept, which is going to help our brand sustainability a lot this year as well. So those are my
Okay,
three
excellent.
tidbits.
Well, I really look forward to that. One thing I didn't ask you is how do you find people respond to the idea of a really Caribbean aesthetic when you start to sell your product outside of TNT, outside of the Caribbean? Like, what kind of response do you get from people maybe in the US, UK? I don't know which markets you.
Yeah. It's mostly people are introduced to it by people from the Caribbean, people from Trinidad, people in the diaspora. We don't have a huge market, so people just kind of finding it by themselves and oh, this
Yeah.
looks interesting. But so they've already been introduced to it by somebody, so they have high hopes, high expectations, as opposed to people who
Mhm.
would just find it on their own, which is less common, even though it does happen every so often. So generally, the feedback is good, but the expectations are also high because it comes highly recommended.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's no problem in fulfilling their desires there, so everything will be great. All right. So, I just want to remind the people that Immortelle Beauty. Let me just go real quick and show you the website, so you can go there. Immortelle. Where are you? Did I close you? It's here. Oh, here you are. Right. So check out the website. The website too is also really, really, it's just really luxurious. You really look at it. You look at the imagery, and I love the fact that everything is really truly Caribbean, from the plants that you use to the motif that you use. It could rank among the best, and it is really lovely to look at. It feels easy. Again, negative space. It feels easy. It doesn't give me any anxiety when I look at the website, because some websites can really be doing too much. So you guys could visit immortelett.com to shop for your beauty products, your body butters, your candles for your self-care routines to relax, all your little local luxuries from Immortelle Beauty. Okay, so you guys could definitely shop there. All right, and of course, let me see here. So let me just put this up. Let me just throw this up here. Immortelle's website. Where is it? Right here. So if you want to shop right there, and definitely follow Immortelle on Instagram. Are you on any other social media besides Instagram?
Oh, my new fave, TikTok. Yes, we have Twitter and Facebook as well, but we're also on TikTok. It's my new fave.
Okay, so TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You guys could check that out. Of course, you guys could shop. We have a comment coming in. So
Bye.
Ali, great. But it was nice to get to know the founder of Immortal Beauty. I have been watching this brand and finally bought the Sheer Moisture Spray Oil, and I love the
I love that
product.
you have the whole name, Shea Moisture Spray Oil. I love it.
Yes, yes. So this is great. And thanks, Arlene, for your great feedback. Appreciate it. And appreciate everyone who continues to watch despite the technical difficulties, because Flo would not
Yes.
let me live. Right? So, Kathryn, I just want to thank you for coming on. This was
Thank
fantastic.
you. This is
And
a
thank
lovely
you for
conversation.
powering through despite the technical difficulties. And of course, guys, for all of you who are watching, even if you're watching on the replay, and you see what it takes to create not just a luxury brand but a brand in general, what the things you have to think about, your touch points, your website, your in-store experience, if you are running an in-store brand and not just online. You really want your brand expressed in the things that you do. And of course, if you're in the area of beauty, beauty is really something that people do to feel good, to relax, to really put themselves up. People shouldn't be feeling anxiety when they interact with your business for any reason, whether it's the customer experience, whether it's the product, whether it's the shopping. All right. Okay. So if you think you need help with positioning your brand, definitely check out my website. Leave me a message on my contact form. I will get it, or send me an email, hello@jbannisterbranding.com. I'm looking out for you to help you find the right words and right positioning for your brand. All right. So Kathryn, once again, thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
to all of you, you're welcome. And to all the amazing people who are here on yet another episode of The Lipstick Effect, thank you. And I want you to tune in next week where we will be right here on The Lipstick Effect to talk about another amazing topic in beauty and in branding. Okay. So, guys, have a great evening and see you next week. Bye.
Bye.